CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 14 of the Grey's Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we did some more cross-examination, this time with Shamspeare, as well as an employee of the local gas company. And then basically all the jurors declared Soseki guilty, but then we did some basic examination, and we basically managed to tip things back in our favor. And, now we're going to do some more cross-examining with Shamspeare. You will tell the court precisely why you believe the victim, Mr. William Shamspeare, has been stealing gas. Yes, my lord. It'll be my pleasure. On the Altamont Gas Company.
If I may, my lord.
Go ahead, ma'am.
This worker's testimony may have a significant bearing on the good name of my husband's company. Therefore, I should like to take the stand alongside him in a supervisory role, if you wouldn't mind. If he talks about the people we killed in the name of propane, then basically I will deny it.
Wahoo! Oh yeah! Sweet as honey! Yeah! Frankly, Altamont should be a little concerned about this guy who's taking a bit too much of an interest in his wife. Very well. As an exception, I shall honor your request.
Thank you, my lord.
You wait till the boss gives you an earful. Ooh, it's gonna sting! Mark my words! I swear, this guy and Zasp, they would be the ultimate bug-themed duo of simpin'. They would have a heated debate about who is superior, which of their queens reigns supreme. So, you will both testify before the court on the subject of illegal consumption of the Altamont Gas Company's fuel.
Yes. Is that clear, my good man?
Clear as Altamont Gas, my lady! Which is the clearest in the world? It's what makes my scalera yellow! It makes me look like a cat, like a Naruto villain! Do you think the gas has gone to his head, Mr. Susato? Well, it certainly has gone to his eyes. I mean, considering that his scalera are yellow, I just noticed that.
I think the man may be just a very dedicated employee, Mr. Naruto. And CzarThwomp's voice is dying.
Investigation. I'm proud to be in the company's East End branch, investigator and meter money collection agency. Altamont gas meters accept thumb penny bits, each coin giving customers about 2 hours of gorgeous gas. How can gas be gorgeous? Who are you, Hank Hill?
And yet the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room didn't have a single coin in it. The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though, and the collection agent has the only key.
Somehow he's using all the flaming gas he wants without paying a penny. If that's not thieving, what is? Hooray, forgive the discourtesy. The irrelevance of this testimony caused me to turn to my hollow chalice. What do you mean by that remark, Lord Van Zeeks? Did the mustachioed Nipponese boys in the gangling excuse for an actor, or didn't he? That is all that should be concerned, that's all that concern this court. And yet now we must listen to this abhorrence. Clearly what separates the vast British Empire and your Eastern Island nation is more than geographical distance. But this could turn out to be crucial testimony. The cross-examination must go ahead. I throw bottles. Your argument's invalid. Do what you will.
Lord Van Zeeks appears to be in a violent mood.
Yes, he does. An attempted poisoning and an incident of gas theft with no supporting evidence. It's true that they would appear completely unrelated at first glance. But I wonder, the truth tends to be buried in the most unusual of places. And the first step in uncovering it will be to establish just who and what this man really is. He's Grendel! Yeah, let's basically do some testimony. So does that mean you enter people's houses in order to empty their gas meters? That I do! I have to try to catch people when they're in. Then I ask permission to come inside and do my business. Does that mean you've been into Mr. Natsume's room before, as well as that of Mr. Shamspeare?
Well now, interesting you should bring that up. Because I couldn't believe how little money was in his meter. I mean, how the pair of them survived the winter is beyond me, it really is.
Knowing Mr. Natsume, he probably spends all his gas money on books. And then he burns the books for fuel, for warmth.
And then when he finishes reading them, he probably burns them for warmth. Inosuke, you're taking my lines! You will kindly reiterate your statement about the gas meter themselves, Mr. Metermaid. Sorry, Meter Man. I swear my eyes are failing me.
Not much to say really, but as you wish.
Hold it! The gas. So all of London's houses have a gas supply. So all London houses that have a gas supply are fitted with these gas meters, are they?
They're the latest model, the height of technology developed by our company, Altamont Gas. And anyone who uses our gas will have one of these meters in their property, yes.
So if a 3 pence coin gives 2 hours of gas, most people would use about 3 coins in a night.
A bit more than that usually, if they have both gas lights and a gas stove, that is.
Think about it, Soseki-san doesn't have a fireplace in that room of his, does he?
Some people still choose to use candles, of course, and only have gas for heating. Those heathens, those candle-using heathens, those candles will go straight to your head. They will destroy your mind. Ah, yes, I do remember seeing candles in Mr. Natsume's room, actually.
And how does the money in the meter get back to you at the gas company?
Every 3 days, gasmen like me visit properties on the gas supply and empty the meters and the coins. Are there coins at?
I must say, the design and manufacture of these new meters cost the company an awful lot of money. But happily, it did put a stop to people not paying their dues, for the most part.
Ah, because they have to pay in advance, you mean?
Yes, exactly right.
Hold it! Yeah, sorry about the lack of coins. What if he uses fake coins? Out of interest, how long has this been going on? What basically he ties a string around a coin and then he puts it in the meter and then just yanks it right back out? Out of interest, how long has this been going on?
Weeks and weeks! He's been pitching gas off us for ages!
And you've examined the mirror in Mr. Shamspeare's room, I take it?
Naturally, we took it off the wall and went over it with a fine-tooth comb.
And found nothing suspicious at all, I presume.
No, I'm afraid we didn't. Which is exactly why I demanded a new type of meter be produced. One with an indestructible lock. The Shamspeare Special.
That sounds like it would have cost an awful lot of 3-penny pieces.
But even after all that, the rascal's meter was still empty.
I'll never forget the humiliation. When I opened up the money box and found it bare. You what? I said. You what? I went freaking Super Saiyan with my freaking green eyes! With my green scholera! And the look on his face, that smarmy smile of his. I pulled the mirror straight off the wall and took it back to the office. But you know what? Nothing. Not a trace of it being jammed open anywhere. Not a single sign. And what happens to my salary as a result? Down by 3 shillings a day, that's what.
A life-threatening situation in a number of ways. You can develop a bond with juror number 5. Incidentally, what became of that meter?
Nothing became of it. I've still got it.
Oh?
Right here.
So you just carry that around? No wonder they call you Meterman. I think it would be prudent for the court to sequester this item while the trial is ongoing. The gas meter has been added. Okay, let's check it out. Definitely. Da 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 da. Okay, and my nose is starting to bleed. Hooray! Ah. The blood is going in my throat. That's a very sturdy looking padlock, isn't it?
And the money box is sealed with beeswax too.
So if Mr. Sholmes were to get up to any mischief, he'd be found out immediately. Yeah.
Mr. Naruto, mischief of that kind is not the sort of thing that Mr. Sholmes would.
You know, you didn't finish that sentence, don't you?
Well, anyways, it's understandable that the gas company would want to safeguard the money that's rightfully theirs.
But it does feel a little over the top, perhaps, doesn't it? Okay. Anything here? Okay, nothing apparently. The gas box is nothing. Although, at first glance, there doesn't appear to be anything unusual about it. Let's move this along, shall we? Continue with your testimony. Though I would say it has as much value as the contents of that meter. Oof!
The meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with, though. Okay.
Hold it!
There's only one key for all of your meters?
Well, in truth, there's another key in the company vault of our main office. But even if someone had somehow managed to get a hold of that key, we'd know if the coin box had been opened.
Oh? How?
I came up with a rather clever way to expose any little shenanigans as it happens.
Would you care to explain?
Well, now, in order to empty a meter, you have to unlock the padlock and remove the cover. But when I close the cover again, I stick a little beeswax seal on it, you see?
A seal? Like the sort of thing you'd put on an envelope, you mean?
Something like that, yes. Basically, you can't remove the cover again without breaking the seal.
Now, in the case of Mr. Shamspeare's meter, there were no coins inside at all, as I said.
But the seal hadn't been broken either.
So that would mean Mr. Shamspeare somehow managed to steal coins from inside the meter without opening it.
It would seem so, but that would be impossible.
Okay, let me just check. Okay, let's press.
Hold it!
How do you know that he's been using gas, though?
Well, now, since I started investigating this bloke, I've been to his room with him a few times, and on every single occasion, his lamps have been blazing and he's still pounding. It's the middle of winter, and he still turns to me, sweat dripping down his cheeks, and says,
Get thee to a nunnery! Hamlet indeed.
I could wring the bloke's neck. I'd get all hot under the collar, but still. Every time I open that flaming meter, it's empty. He's robbing me of my salary, too. What's wrong with the world? Where's the justice?
Frankly, too bad Apollo doesn't know about this case, because otherwise Apollo, he could easily take that as his catchphrase. He could easily take that as basically his motto. Just Apollo starts his law firm up in Corrane. That's his catchphrase. Where's the justice? Where's the beef? Where's the justice? But how can Mr. Shamspeare possibly be stealing the money? I don't understand. The simple explanation is right before your eyes. What? A toast to your eventually realizing that the gasman could be an accomplice.
You what?
Good lord, eminently plausible indeed.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself?
Just love that gentle jab, and just love how, and I love this how basically Mirrorman, he's just taking it. He's just taking that light jab and.
Oh, please, Lady Quinby. I'm a faithful worker. I would kill for Altamont Gas. And besides, if the money this gasman collect doesn't tally with how much gas has been used, you dock our base by the same amount.
So you'd be stealing money only to have the same amount taken from your wages. Clearly that makes no sense.
Perhaps it's a case of losing the battle to win the war.
No, I'm not gonna stir up that hornet's nest. If I went stealing from the company, I'd be finished.
It would seem there's no evidence to support the claims of thievery made against the victim, because Mr. William Shamspeare is innocent. Pray forgive me if that shows some illusion my learned Nipponese friend was clearly under. I certainly didn't expect to uncover another crime that looks like it's been taking place in the very same room.
According to the testimony, it's only the meter in Mr. Shamspeare's room that's under suspicion. It does seem as though perhaps it has nothing to do with an incident involving Mr. Natsume.
I know, it does seem that way, but the fact is, since I've been practicing law in England, I feel as though I've encountered this sort of thing at least once already. cases that are interlinked. Oh! It might seem that the two cases have nothing to do with one another at first, but in fact, they're intimately connected. For a second there, I thought that basically Ryunosuke was going to bring up the whole Beepo trying to basically swindle people out of an extra pence. Beepo is an accomplice! Please, Beepo needs warmth! Beepo gets a cut of the money and Beepo gets warmth! This is a bargain!
Yes, we have experienced that before, haven't we? I wonder if this is another instance.
Perhaps, but we can't be sure of that yet. If the Altamont Gas Company has been investigating Mr. Shamspeare so earnestly, there must be something to it. But then, how has he been managing to steal their gas? Okay, I just want to check again. Okay, the beeswax seal, we already checked that out. Okay. Anything else? Nope. Nothing on the gas meter. Okay, let's check the description. A meter that spits gas. It sports a very strong lock, developed especially with Shamspeare in mind. Okay. Okay. I think that basically they're going to imply that the bar of soap is used to replace the seal. Okay. Didn't have a single coin in it. Okay. Yes, yes. As you can see, basically, there is some soap.
Objection.
Okay, present that. The last statement was contradictory in a number of ways, you'll find.
In a number of ways, you say.
That's right, my lord. In a number of ways.
Perhaps it would serve you well to concentrate your efforts on the contradiction, one contradiction at a time, Counsel.
I made a bit of a mess of that. In a number of ways, actually. Okay. What are we missing? What are we missing? I know that basically they're going to say that he was using the soap. That basically he would open it up somehow, and then he would use the soap in order to basically to mess with the gas. However, basically it's just getting that conclusion. You know, that's the issue with a lot of Ace Attorney cases, where basically you know that basically how it's going down. You know exactly how things are operating. However, basically, it can be just so confusing at times. Okay. Okay. Let's look at it. Let's look. East Company End. Gas meters. Yes, I know. Apparently this meter doesn't appear to have been tampered with. Okay, yes, all the flaming gas he could ever want. Okay, I'm just, like I said, I am not sure what's going on. Okay, we already checked that out. Okay, we've checked the gas meter out. Okay. Yeah, nothing else there. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we have to present the bar of soap now, because basically it seems like the bar of soap would be basically something they would be going on about. That they would be going on about basically as a, can you prove this sort of thing? So let's try think. Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, I'm just gonna basically do another check. Okay. There has to be something with this gas box. Wait, what? Did I miss something, really? Oh, what's this?
Have you noticed something, Mr. Naruto?
Just here. There's a little hole. Do you see?
Goodness, you're right. I wouldn't have noticed.
It's not a very neat hole, is it?
So, you think it might have been opened up by Mr. Shamspeare?
Possibly. It seems like people at Altamont Gas must have missed it.
Well, it certainly seems to go all the way through to the inside.
Yes, but there's no way a coin would fit through there.
That's true, but even so, it seems more than a little suspicious.
Okay. I apparently was on the right track, but yet I missed it out. I missed out on it. Okay, present.
Objection.
Lady Altamont, I'm afraid to say, CzarThwomp accidentally dropped the controller. That this mirror clearly does show signs of having been tampered with. What?
Get away! I've been over and over that thing. I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with it.
In that case, what do you have to say about this small hole that's been made at the base of the coin box?
Hole? What?
You're right. You're quite right. There's a little hole there. The meters aren't supposed to have that. None of the others do. In other words, we can assume that Mr. Shamspeare secretly opened this hole himself. Yes, I wouldn't be at all surprised, but why?
Yeah, why? I mean, it's tiny. You couldn't get farther. You could get farther than that.
Lady Altamont, I wonder if you could give the court some more details about your meter's design. What sort of details? Well, what I'd specifically like to know is how it differentiates how it's dismantled, how it differentiates coins. How does the mirror tell the difference between different coins? What do you mean? Well, for example, if someone were to put in a 1 penny coin, that wouldn't work presumably, would it? No, of course not. So, well, how does the mirror know that the coin's been fed as a third penny bit? Ah, I see what you're getting at now. The meter tells coins apart by their shape and size, which includes their thickness. A third penny is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter, you see. Other coins just won't fit. Ah, I see. It's clearly been very well thought out.
The witness will amend their formal testimony with that information in case it's pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. Okay. 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 That was discounted. Okay,
Objection.
Okay, you can't barely present it twice. Okay, this is not good. I am on the verge of fail again. Yeah, because I think it's that we have to dismantle. I don't know. Okay, yeah, apparently. Let's try and press that statement. But conversely then, it would seem that anything matching a 3-pence coin exactly just the diameter and thickness could equally be used. Would that be true? Well, yes, in a way. The weight comes into a certain extent as well.
We're through. We've thought that thought anyways. If I find any fake coins inside the coin box, then when I empty the meter, then the contract says the customer has to pay 100 times the amount they diddled as a fine. We live for moments like that, us gasmen do. Live for them. Ha 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 ha.
You're enjoying your job a little too much.
Well, it would seem the gas company has thought of everything. Wahoo! Hurrah for gas! Hooray for cash! Altamont all the way!
That's quite enough of that. Remind me, how big are third penny bits? About 3/4 of an inch across. What do you think, Mr. Rudo? Is that this 2-centimeter measurement significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect of the meter's construction that we should be focusing on? Yes, you may be right. Perhaps we should try a different tact here. Like asking about whether the meter can be dismantled, for example. Delve deeper, yes. How can the meter be dismantled? Dismantled? Yes, given that there are no signs of having been forced. I'm wondering if perhaps rather than being broken open, it might have been taken apart. Well, yes, that does make some sense. The padlocks are made by a first-class locksmith from the finest quality steel, and the mirror box itself is made from plate steel as well, welded shut to ensure it can't be opened again. I can assure you, it's quite possible to dismantle it.
Whoa, yeah, nothing leaks from an Altamont meter. No coins, no gas, nothing.
I see.
The witness will amend their formal testimony with that information in case it's pertinent.
As you wish, my lord. Okay. Okay.
Hold it!
Let's see what's going on here. Has anyone ever tried?
Oh, yes, they tried, but they've all given up before long.
After all, if they actually broke the meter, the company would be able to take legal action. We'd be able to break their kneecaps in. Yes, that makes sense. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Is the welded steel construction significant? Or perhaps there's some other aspect that the construction we should be focusing on? Yes, you may be right. Perhaps we should try a different tack here. Like asking how the meter differentiates coins. Okay. Let's say delve deeper. Okay. Yeah, let's see how it differentiates between coins. Okay. Yes, we know about this power. We know about the coins. Okay, I'm starting to think that basically it has something to do with the soap, because, like I said, that soap medallion, that medallion could have been just a coin. Okay. Anything new? Okay, apparently there's something new here with the soap. Oh, look at this bar of soap. There's a circular depression on this side, about 2 centimeters across. Or 3/4 of an inch. Ah! Do you think... We did find the soap at the scene, didn't we? Yes, there were 2 bars. One on that ledge just outside the window, so we took this one. But I'm sure that when we found it, there was some sort of reddish medallion in the middle. There, I remember it clearly. Yes, but there's no sign of it now. Where could it have gone? Okay, the bar of soap. Okay.
Objection.
There we go. Let me just confirm something here. If the diameter or thickness were to be correct, the meter would accept any object as if it were a third penny. Is that correct? Sorry about that. Sorry, I had to readjust my iPad because the timer was going off. Yes, that is correct. Sorry, I am off right now. Well, by something of a coincidence, while we were investigating in Mr. Shamspeare's room, we found a particular item that matches the dimensions perfectly. Something the same size as a third penny bit. What was it? The item in question is this. It was a bar of soap.
What? Have you been inhaling gas? That's a bar of soap. But if you're inhaling gas, is it Altamont Gas? Because any other gas is horrible. But if you inhale our gas, you are the customer of the year.
It certainly looks nothing like a third penny bit, I must say. It looks like I'm going to have to point out exactly what I mean here. What's so important about this soap is this part here. Let's present. You have to turn over the soap to see what I mean. Are you referring to that round depression in the middle of the soap there? That's right, a depression that's approximately 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Or in other words, almost exactly the same size as a through penny bit.
Get away! Does anyone here present have in their possession a through penny bit? Quickly now, hand over your coins, ladies and gentlemen.
It sounds rather like a highway robbery, doesn't it? Beepo would be very proud of you, Judge. Beepo would be most proud.
Thanks to a kind member of the public in the gallery, I have here a threepenny bit. Now, to see if it fits. My word, it couldn't be more snug!
Yes, as I suspected. This, without a doubt, is a vital clue to explain how the Altamont Gas Company is being defrauded. Well, I don't believe it.
So, your assertion amounts to what? That some inferior bar of soap has a tentative connection to the theft of gas.
I love how basically how Rinnosuke said that this was Japanese soap, and yet Van Zeeks is able to instantly recognize it as Japanese soap, and thus basically goes on the offensive, saying how inferior it is. I love just how Van Zeeks, he's so in tune with basically his disdain. Yes, the depression in the soap was clearly made by a threepenny bit.
I must concur at least that pushing a coin with some force into a poor quality bar of soap such as this is a remarkably simple way of replicating the coin's shape. And then you could use, well, some melted wax or something to pour more into the mold. You can make fake coins in no time!
This brings all the pieces of the puzzle together. It's the method Mr. Shamspeare is using to steal the gas. That's the missing link. And now that, if I follow that chain of thought, it's going to bring me to a new explanation for what happened that nobody's considered yet. But this is all nonsense. If the man had been making fake coins, my worker here would have found them when he emptied the meter.
Quite true, Lady Altamont. In the absence of some black magic that could make them disappear, the Nipponese have done it! He used his Nipponese magic to make the fake coins disappear from the meter! I see, that's what we're dealing with, is it? There's one more black magic that could cause the fake coins to disappear into thin air. The Nipponese defendant stealing them!
Exactly, and that meter here gives it away. What on earth? There are remnants of the magical method used visible in the gas meter taken from the victim's room.
If that's your assertion, counsel, the defense will identify these remnants for the court once.
Where on this meter can the remnants of the method used to make the fake coins disappear be seen? Yeah, let's check the box because basically you heat it up, the wax drips out of the bottom, boom, basta boom. Yep, sure enough. Present the hole. We found this bar of soap at the scene of the crime, just outside the victim's window.
Outside?
Yes, outside, where you yourself, Mr. Meterman, were loitering, in the freezing winter air. Creepily, that's where we found this soap.
Ah! I did it!
That's right. The answer, of course, is ice.
Did you say ice?
Mr. Shamspeare has been leaving soaps like this outside his window each evening, filled with water. After a night outside in the bitter cold, the water is completely frozen solid in the next morning.
Then he takes his fake coins of ice and feeds them into the gas meter, giving him light and warmth in spades. As his room becomes very comfortably warm, the ice now inside the meter's coin box melts,
turning back into water and draining harmlessly away through the small hole made in the underside of the meter. That's how, without leaving any evidence of his wrongdoing, this man has been stealing Altamont gas. Just like that? So simply? Is he trying to make us look like idiots? He's been fooling us with some bars of soap and some water? That's right, madam. I don't believe it. It can't be true. Do you have any idea how much money we spent to develop that new meter? And now you have the audacity to suggest that a bit of soap and some water can render it totally useless? I'm fairly sure I didn't design it. Evidence. Sorry? I want evidence. If you're going to stand here and tell me our meters are rubbish, I want to see proof. She's very good at enforcing accountability, isn't she? Very well, Lady Altamont. If you'd like some evidence, I'll provide it. What?
Mr. Naruto, are you saying you do actually have evidence to support this theory?
If I did notice a trace of something that bothered me a little at the time. And I have a feeling that this theory we've come up with now could explain it. The water in that photograph. The photograph of the crime scene. Because there's some water underneath the pump. This is a photograph of the scene at the point at which the victim was discovered, taken by Inspector Gregson. And it clearly shows the remnants of the crime carried out by Mr. Shamspeare. What remnants? Here you can see the gas meter on the wall in Mr. Shamspeare's room. Now, look closely at the floorboards directly underneath the meter.
What is that? Some kind of grubby stain?
Almost certainly, it is a water stain resulting from the liquid that drained out of the hole made in the meter.
Ah!
If one coin gives around 2 hours of gas usage, and the occupant was heating his room in all of his waking hours, we can imagine he would have to use around 10 of his fake coins each day. The melting ice of the meter's coin box would have been dripping out almost constantly, leaving a stain on the floor.
This is awful.
And there's further evidence too. Mr. Shamspeare slumped over at his table, apparently having consumed strychnine. And right there next to him is a bar of soap, broken in half.
You're right.
It would appear to be, then, counsel, that the man was eating the soap, was he?
I love how the judge is going down the Sherlock route.
Pardon me for disagreeing with your lordship, but certainly not.
He didn't beat around the bush there, did he?
In truth, Mr. Shamspeare was found with a fork in his hand.
A meal of soap is sounding increasingly likely, Lord Van Zieks. Do you mean to say he was using that fork to...
Yes. To extract the frozen coin from the bar of soap.
Ah! But the bar broke in half. So perhaps it didn't go very well.
Good gracious!
Lord Van Zieks!
I was throwing my hand up in despair, and happened to catch my hallowed bottle on the way. Pray forgive my maladroit mistake. What was the meaning of this, counsel?
We'll answer that next time. Anyways, I really appreciate you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. Without, see you next time. Bye.